then you penetrate through the psyche.
Mm.
And this next dimension that I would speak of, and I am utterly persuaded this is universal, this is in other words not an artifact of Buddhism versus Christianity, what have you.
Yes.
This is the way things are, is you penetrate through to another dimension of consciousness. In English translation, we can call it the substrate consciousness. You tap into this, and it is empty, but not a void. It is empty in the sense it doesn't have content. It's not bumping into objects. It's empty, but it's luminous. It's clear. It's extraordinarily wakeful. It's open. It's expanse. It's not bounded. It's not inside the head. It's not contained.
So it's differentiated, is it?
It's not internally differentiated.
Okay.
So it's more like, there's a wonderful word from physics called symmetry, and it's used a lot in theoretical physics, and that is, a symmetry means internally undifferentiated.
Okay.
So when your mind rests in this, part of the undifferentiated quality of it is you slip into a non-conceptual state. So the internal chit-chat has subsided, but you've not fallen asleep. You're not groggy. You're not in a trance.
So the emotions are not there.
The emotions, it's not like you've suppressed them. It's simply that they've gone quiescent.
They've quietened down.
They've quieted down.
Okay.
Now there's some very interesting discoveries to be made in that. And that is, as the mind settles down, one of the earliest things one will find, very likely, is simply being present with the mind isn't that bad. You know, as the mind calms down, it's not going into some abyss, anxiety or something like that. The mind is settling down, so the first sense is one of calm, of serenity. That's nice. Just free from the turbulence that characterizes so many people's minds so much of the time. And then the mind gets quiet, so the discursive chit-chat, the obsessive flow of thoughts subsides. And then as one settles in, a greater sense of expansiveness, of openness, just the opposite of being in a small enclosed space, that starts to become more and more evident. And then sooner or later, like shafts of light breaking through the clouds, you're very likely to get at least some glimmerings, or perhaps a great big sunbeam, of a sense of true well-being. One may call it bliss.
Okay.
And you experience this. So this is characterized when you really slip into and dwell in this substrate consciousness.
So can you describe bliss more at that state?
It is a sense of, the word pretty well captures it. I mean, we have bliss from a variety of things, sensory-driven and so forth and so on, but a sense of joy, of bliss, of profound well-being. But what's distinctive about this particular type of bliss is that obviously there's sexual bliss. There's bliss of having an enormously good, listening to exquisite music.
Yes.
Your favorite all-time, maybe it's a Chopin prelude, maybe it's the
triggered
Beatles.
by something external then,
Exactly.
isn't it?
And so the psychologists call that hedonic pleasure. And it may be very intense, but here's the catch. Take away the stimulus, it vanishes.
Yes.
And really you're not
I think we all know that,
We all
yes.
know that, and very importantly, you're not left off any better than beforehand. You had it, it spiked, it could be drugs.
Yeah.
It could be drugs. You take the drug, okay, maybe it's very nice. The drug wears off, now where are you? Right where you were, except for now you're developing a drug habit. So now exactly you're not where you were, now you have a habit.
Yeah.
Maybe it turns into an addiction. Now is that really the route you want to follow, right? And so this type of bliss, this is not stimulus-driven. This is not even stimulus-driven by thinking some happy thought or thinking about God or Buddha or something else that might arouse a sense of inspiration. It's not stimulus-driven. What's happened here is your mind has settled into more and more deeply a profound sense of equilibrium, of balance. So it's not going topsy-turvy into excitation, agitation, turbulence, nor is it slipping into simply torpor. There's a clarity, there's a calm, and out of that clarity and calm emerges a sense of well-being. And when you taste it, you see, this is genuine, this is true sense of well-being, but this is coming right out of my own nature, and it's not stimulus-driven. In other words, this one's mine. And I can go into that room for 24 hours, and I will not be impoverished.
But it's mine, but it's not personal, is it?
Precisely. It's mine in the sense that I'm not getting it from anywhere else. It's not mine in the sense that this belongs to the American fellow named Alan Wallace. It's deeper than that. Alan Wallace is on the surface. This sense of well-being is arising from a deeper level than everything that Alan Wallace normally identifies with. My body, gender, mind, background, and so forth.
Yeah. And the implications of that are very significant. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the most interesting features of human existence is that, like all animals, we want to be happy. Whether it's an earthworm, a caterpillar, whether it's a bird or a wolf, all of these sentient beings want pleasure and they don't want pain. And that can be pretty clearly shown. Hold a match and they'll move away. They don't want to be too hot. And so from one perspective, we're animals. Here we are. We have animal bodies. We're mammals, you know, and our nearest relatives are the other primates. On the one hand, but something that I think is distinctive about us human beings, and frankly, I do not think this can be explained in terms of a flat-out reductionist evolutionary perspective. And I believe evolution. There's enormous truths there. I believe in evolution as an extraordinary scientific theory. I do not believe in evolution as a religion. That just buy into evolution with genetic mutation and brain chemistry, and this will answer all the questions about human existence. That's where science is trying to be a religion, and it fails drastically, dismally. And I don't buy it. I think the science is fantastic. But turn it into religion, I'm going to kick it out together with all the other modes of religious fundamentalism. So I don't think this can be explained. And what is that? That not only do we want to be happy and be free of pain, together with caterpillars, birds, and wolves, and so forth, we not only want to be happy, we want to be happier. And that is, provide me with all that I need. Sufficient clothing, food. If I want to procreate, okay, procreate, have your kids, you've got your lodging. Satisfy all your material needs. What we don't do with human beings is we don't down and say, oh, all my needs are taken care of. I'm going to lay down and take a nap until I'm hungry again. We don't do that. We're turning on the telly to watch the new football. We want the latest football game. Or we're doing a crossword puzzle. Or we're becoming monks. Or we want to be happier. And so as long as that wish to be happier is directed outwards, then there's a nice phrase for this. Then we've jumped onto the hedonic treadmill. Hedonic treadmill. And that is, I get it, I want to be happier. That means I need to acquire more and consume more.